Hello everyone, my name is Man of Stage and welcome back to Sabbat of the Witch, Tsumugi's route. In the last episode, we got to see the repercussions for all of those deals that Shuuji made with Akagi. I knew that the consequences could be extreme. Turning into a stuffed animal was not on my bingo card. But even more surprising than that, Akagi may be feeling guilt. I didn't know that was possible. Maybe she's becoming more human after all. But we'll probably find out soon. Lunch break the following day.
ちょっとカイド、またうちのグループに入ってくるつもり？
Boy, Kaido always gets the short end of the stick, doesn't he?
いいじゃん、いいじゃん。俺と若菜ちゃんの仲だろ？
We're friends, but this friend group doesn't involve you.
変態と仲いいみたいじゃん。
You knew that.
まあ変態ですから。
開き直った変態だ。本物だよこの人。
Just like I heard from Tsumugi, Kaido really is eating lunch with Karya's group. That's a relief. Actually, he looks like he's having more fun than he does when I'm around. Now I'm getting jealous.
仕方ないだろ？一緒に飯食う相手が。あれ？
Is Kaido looking over at my seat? His memories.
どうかしたカイド？
いや、あそこの席、どうしてあんな中途半端な場所が空いてるんだっけ？
How have I never noticed this before?
さあ、前からそうだったけかな？多分。
昨日からなんとなく気になってたんだけど。まあいいか。それより飯だ飯。
I don't have time to think about this, I have to eat.
なんだいそりゃ。自分で振っておいて自己解決してるよ。
It's because he hasn't eaten yet. So he has a feeling that something's wrong despite not remembering anything? I'm happy for that, if nothing else.
よかったね、修二君。
Whoa, Tsumugi, back already? Tsumugi had left for the bathroom.
完全に忘れ去られたってわけじゃなかったんだね。
Only mostly. I appreciate it. Are we going to the courtyard again?
カイドウ君には悪いけど、
He's fine.
どっちにしろお昼休みの修二君は私が独り占めするつもりだよ。シーバさん、少しいいですか？
However, as we step out into the corridor, Ayachi-san calls us to a halt.
あやちさん、もちろんいいよ。ありがとうございます。実は放課後、一緒にシュバルツカッツへ付き合ってほしいのですが。
Oh, I wonder if this is about... Why on earth can I not remember her name? Atsumi? Whatever, the girl with the dog.
シュバルツカッツェに？あ、ひょっとして昨日、相馬さんと相談してきたことと関係あったりする？
I'm gonna say it's because she doesn't have a portrait. I feel like if she had a portrait, I'd remember her.
ええ、少し。
Ayachi-san seems unusually reticent.
詳しいことは向こうで話しますので。わかった。私もちょうど話しておきたいことがあったし。
This is Bear Shuuji, you know Nene. About me, right?
あやちさんには散々お世話になってきたもんね。私で役に立てるなら何でも言って。いえ、そういう類の相談ではないのですが。とにかくよろしくお願いしますね。
Ayachi-san briskly walks away. That's odd. A tinge of guilt appears on her face for a brief moment as she does this.
一体何なんだろうね。
Dunno. Maybe they're planning a surprise birthday party or something? Whose birthday is it?
修二君の？
I don't know. No? Wouldn't it be yours? Your birthday's closer.
だって私は違うもん。
I guess neither of us fit then. This is Ayachi-san we're talking about, so she won't be up to any funny business. That much I'm certain of. And so, not particularly suspicious of anything, we walk together with Ayachi-san to the Schwarzkatz after school. However, she isn't being particularly talkative. She's not that talkative to begin with, but today she's saying even less than usual. Ooh.
相馬さん元気にしてる？ええ。さあさあ、お 研の方で何か進展が。すみません。それはまた後で。
Hmm.
そっか。
She's being kind of curt. I wonder why. What's going on here? This might be serious. Eventually, we arrive at the Schwarzkopfs.
あれ、臨時休業になってるみたいだけど。今日は貸し切りにしてもらったんです。どうぞ。相馬さん、こんにちは。あれ
Strangely enough, Soma-san is nowhere to be seen.
七尾なら今はいませんよ。
Ah,
てっきり一緒かとは思ったんだけど。
Hayachi-san is standing between us and the entrance. Oh, no. Is this a trap? And why? I mean, she followed us in, so that's natural, but something about this is making me feel uneasy. It's like she's blocking our escape.
ところで、最近赤城はどうしてます？どうって、綾地さん？なんでも赤城に限らず、鳥のアルプは自由に飛び回れる特性を生かして、魔女を常に見張るものが多いそうです。心当たりはありませんか？言われてみれば、タイミングよく現れることが多いかな。けど、それがどうかした？今日の綾地さん、ちょっと変だよ。
Yeah, not your normal amount of strange.
ごめんなさい。自覚はあります。その上で、厚かましいお願いをしてもよろしいでしょうか？それはいいけど。
Without saying another word, Ayachi-san transforms into her witch's outfit. I have a bad feeling about this. What's more, her gun's already pointing directly between Tsumugi's eyes. What are you doing?
怖がるふりだけしていただけませんか？
Just then, the door bursts open behind Ayachi-san.
貴様！やはり七尾は紬のかけらを狙っておったのか？赤城！紬、今助けるぞ！危ない！何？
A dark shadow leaps at Akagi from behind. The fight is over before she's able to cry out. The shadow has Akagi pressed against the floor before any of us realize it. Ah, it's probably Nanao.
油断したな、赤城。鳥は空にいるから自由なのだ。ひとたび地上へ降りれば、猫はお前の天敵だ。
七尾！貴様、何のつもりじゃ
Is this an intervention?
そうだよ。相馬さんも綾地さんも一体どうしたの？まさか赤城をおびき出すために私を呼んだの？申し訳ございません。シーバさんが一切関わっていないことは分かっていました。
We activated her trap card.
ですが私にもどうしても許せないことはあります。許せないことって赤城何かしたの？知らん！こんなことをされる覚えなどない！
東さや子の名前に聞き覚えはないか？
Okay, so it does have something to do with her. What did Akagi do with her? Did she make another contract? Atsuma-san, the girl who took in the abandoned puppy?
どうしてそこでアツマさんが出てくるの？つむぎ、知っているのか？誰だそれは！あっちは知らんぞ！
That doesn't seem very convincing.
白を切っているのか？本当に知らないのか？それとも襲った相手の名前などいちいち覚えていないということか？
Huh.
襲った。違う！何の話をしておるのじゃ？アツマさんの心は回復へ向かっていたはずです。だというのにある日突然無気力になってしまったようなんです。 まるで全てを諦め、受け入れてしまったように。
Wait, could this mean a hole opened up in her heart?
嘘。まさか私たちが余計なことしちゃったせいなんじゃ。いいえ、シーバさん。繰り返しますが、彼女の心は回復へ向かっていたんです。だから、少し調べさせてもらいました。すると、心を強引に削り取った跡が見つかったんです。
Okay, so that's why she's been so distraught.
もともと穴が開きかけて、脆くなっていたせいもあったんだろう。
Okay, that doesn't seem like it. Well, maybe it does seem like Akagi. Honestly, I can't get a good read on her.
だが、そんな真似ができるのは魔女かアルプだけだ。
待ってください。だからって、赤木が犯人とは限らないんじゃ。シーバさん忘れたんですか？赤木が強引に星名くんの心を削って穴を広げてしまったこと。
That is true.
あれは。
She has done this before. But this still doesn't make sense. Even if she still thinks she has done nothing wrong, surely she has learned how badly it can backfire on her. Yeah, I would think that the repercussions would have convinced her not to do that again. Otherwise, she'll have to sit the wrong way for a while.
星名くんも敦馬さんもとても心の優しい人だと思います。でも優しい人ほど傷つきやすいんです。もしわざわざそういう人を狙って襲ったんだとしたら、到底許す気にはなれません。
Ooh, I don't think I've ever seen Nene this angry.
綾地さん。
Yeah, that's basically what I said. I've never seen Ayachi-san look like this before. She's seriously pissed off.
けど、いきなりこんな風にしなくても、先に話を聞いてあげれば。
悪いがシーバさん、こいつに飛ばれたら私でも追うことはできない。そしてこの土地は私のテリトリーなんだ。責任もある。
だからといって好き勝手していいと思っておるのか。
Wait, so did you do it?
そのセリフはそっくりそのままお前に返してやる。だがもちろん面会の機会は与えてやろう。ただし短期間で急にお前の人化が進んだことなら、
Oh,
事
I
前の
see.
調査で掴んでいる。
Okay, so things are lining up. So even if she didn't do it, the evidence seems to point, the circumstantial evidence seems to point to her having done it. But they don't know about the details of her deal with Shuuji.
簡単には言い逃れできないと思ってくれ。
Perhaps I can. He just starts sauntering forward in teddy bear form with his little teddy bear arms behind his back.
なんじゃと。それなんだけど。シーバさん、何か知っているんですか？ごめんなさい。
Shiba-san pulls me out of her bag.
シュジ君です。
Hi.
そのぬいぐるみの名前だとは聞きましたが。
No, this is Shuji-kun.
そうじゃなくて、もっと早く説明しておけばよかったんだけど、私の代償を肩代わりしようとしてこんな姿になっちゃったっていうか。星名修二君なんです。一体何を言っているんですか？
Is this when I start talking, or... Yeah, I'm really sorry. Both Ayachi-san and Soma-san are struck speechless, unlike the sentient teddy bear. The only people who can hear me are witches and alps, and among them, only those who are aware of my true form. So Tsumugi's explanation has allowed them to finally understand me. I struck a deal to allow Tsumugi to be free of her compensation for a few hours each day. In exchange, I'm only allowed to be human for those same few hours. Outside of that time, I return to this form.
まさか契約の代償でぬいぐるみになるなんてありえるんですか？
Apparently.
もちろん通常の契約ではありえない。本当に星名くんなのか？
Yes, though I'm not sure how I'm meant to prove it.
いや、信じよう。まったく君も、バカな取引をしたものだ。
Oh, I know.
赤城もルールを無視してイレギュラーな取引をすれば、ろくなことにならないと、いい加減学んだらどうだ。
Okay, so that makes sense. Under a normal contract, something like this would never happen. But because theirs was working outside of the boundaries of the normal rules, something outside of the normal expectations occurred.
とにかくあっちが無実と分かったじゃろ。
さあな。これだけでは証明に。お前。
Soma-san's expression suddenly changes. What just happened? Akagi takes advantage of Nanao's confusion to break free. Uh-oh.
言いがかりも大概にせ。お前はあっちを犯人に仕立て上げたいだけなのじゃ。
テリトリー内でことが起きてしまった以上、私には犯人を探す義務がある。悪いが、現時点でお前が有力な容疑者であることに変わりはない。
Unless there's a third Alp.
一度見逃してやったことが原因なら、なおのことな。なんじゃ
と、あっちは最初からやってないと言っておるじゃろ。赤城、落ち着いて。だって、あっちはやってない。やってないと言ったら、やってないのじゃ。
Okay, now I believe her. Akagi storms out of the Schwarzkatz. That Akagi... Was she crying?
見当外れだったんでしょうか。
容疑者は他にいない。少なくとも今の時点ではな。
But that doesn't mean she did it.
赤城は違うと思いますけど。
Sorry, but neither do I. Like, she might be stupid, but she's not a bad person.
わかっているよ。だがそれでも無実が証明されるわけではない。そもそもこの付近で最近縄張りを変えたアルプは赤城しかいない。それもわざわざ私の縄張りへ入ってくるものもな。
けど、
むしろ君は自分の恋人にそんな代償を支払わせるようなアルプを信用しているのか？
Well, I don't think she had any way to predict what the consequences were going to be either. I mean, she said as much.
信用しているというか、赤城は確かにひどいこともするし、嘘をつくこともあります。
And she might put on airs, and she might be full of herself, and she might try to avoid taking responsibility under most circumstances. Where was I going with this?
けど、本当の意味での嘘はつけない子です。演技をしてまでやってないと言い張るなんて、そんなの赤城じゃないです。
確かに一理ある。あいつはそこまで賢くないか。
She's a crow, not a fox.
もしそうなら、とっくに自分の状態に。
Soma-san?
いや、赤城も人化が進んだことで知恵をつけた可能性もゼロとは言えないだろう。他に真犯人がいるかも含め、あらゆる可能性を考えなくてはいけないようだからな。
それは、そうかもですけど。
It's a sound argument. But something's bothering me about the expression on Soma-san's face. It's the same one she had when Akagi pushed her away.
とにかくねね、君には悪いが、しばらく捜査に協力してくれると助かる。もし被害者が増えるようなら大問題だからな。
そのつもりです。シーバさんたちも巻き込んで申し訳ありません。
I mean, it makes sense. This impacts everybody.
あやちさんは何も悪くないよ。でも、部活にもしばらく顔を出せなくなると思いますから。
This definitely won't leave her with enough spare time for the OC. But assuming the culprit is someone else, who could it be? And what the hell is their goal? Tsumugi looks me in the eye. It looks like she's wondering the same thing. There's a third Alp. I really feel like that's probably it. We arrive home to find someone already inside. Aw. I actually feel bad for her.
赤城。 やっぱり泣いてたんだ。
Yeah, she definitely didn't do it. She feels way too bad about it. Tsumugi reaches out for the light switch, but decides not to flip it. She walks over to Akagi in silence and strokes her back.
やめか、登場などしてほしくはない。そっか、ごめんね。
No, I just said I don't want your sympathy.
どうせ紬も小僧もハチを疑っているのじゃろう。
Actually, no. Hey, Akagi, Tsumugi's been sticking up for you, you know?
いいよ。だって一瞬だったけど、私もひょっとしたらって思っちゃったから。
Hey, Tsumugi.
修二君の心の穴を無理やり広げた前科があるって言われた時も何も言い返せなかった。やはり紬までハチを。赤木、今までのことはちゃんと反省しなくちゃいけないと思うよ。それが伝わってないから疑われちゃったんじゃないかな。
Yeah, that doesn't help.
今のままじゃ、もし真犯人を見つけて無実が分かっても同じようなことが起きた時また疑われるよ。その時もこうやって膝を抱えて泣くつもり。私だったら嫌だな。
She refuses to unconditionally believe in or support Akagi, which is what makes her so persuasive.
何なのじゃそれは。ハチを信じておるのか疑っておるのかどっちなのじゃ。ハチはやってないのにどうしてまたお説教されなきゃいけないのじゃ。
Akagi, you need to think about what Tsumugi is telling you.
知らん。結局お前たちもあっちのことを疑っておるのじゃ。
Okay, now she's just acting like a petulant child. And there she goes. Hey! She runs away again, this time out of Tsumugi's house. What the hell does she think she's doing by running away?
修二君、いいよ。私がちょっと偉そうなこと言い過ぎたせいだから。
Yeah, but running away every time definitely doesn't help. No, you didn't. Not at all. You could never have said those things unless you truly care about her. At least, that's the impression I got. It'll just take time for Akagi to process. She'll come to understand what you said eventually.
だとはいいけどな。
You'll understand it when she's older. Ignore the fact that she's probably older than all of us. Left alone in the dreary dark room, the two of us remain motionless for a while. The only illumination is that of the moon's light, sneaking in through the curtain gap.
ねえ、私たちで真犯人を探せないかな。
I was actually just thinking that. Not just for Akagi, though. This asshole's going after people with weak hearts. You can't just ignore that.
ありがとう。あやちさんが犯人を許せないって言った気持ち、私もわかるから。赤木にも分かってほしかったんだ。
There are things in this world one should never do. Even if you happen to be a witch, an alp, or something else outside of the norm. Your status changes nothing.
サノバウィッチ。犯人探しに協力したいということですか？
You bet. The first thing we do the next day is go and talk to Ayachi-san. We had her come to the club room with us so we could talk without being overheard.
やっぱり赤木は犯人じゃないと思う。だとしたら他に真犯人がいるわけだよね。
Soma-san said that you have no other suspects, which means you have no other leads. So wouldn't it be better if you had more manpower to search with?
ええ。
For some reason, Ayachi-san seems to be having a hard time speaking when she looks at me. Huh? Are you finding it hard to speak to me?
いえ、星名くんだとは分かっているんですけど、ぬいぐるみとお話ししているようで少し恥ずかしくて。
It's all because I told Meguru that talking to stuffed animals was embarrassing, isn't it? I didn't realize that was going to be a catalyst for everything. It's karma.
そうなの？これはこれで可愛くていいと思うけどな。
Oh, shucks. Tsumugi's never had a problem with talking to me now that I think about it. I guess it's different for everyone.
とにかく提案については、私としてはぜひお願いしたいというところなんですが。
Why just personally?
相馬さんはまだ赤城のことを疑ってるのかな。七尾は可能性の問題だと言っています。万一犯人の可能性があるものへ情報が漏れて被害が拡大したら、そのリスクは背負えないと。
Excuse me? Really?
要するに念のためってこと？おそらくは。
It's a valid argument, which makes it much less likely that she'll change her mind. But you think differently, Ayachi-san?
ええ、昨日も言いましたが、私は犯人が許せません。敦馬さんは親しい友人の死を受け入れ、新しい友人との関係を築こうと必死でした。私が集めたかけらを吸収させて、なんとか安定はさせましたが、知っての通り、これは一時しのぎに過ぎません。
You went that far for her?
はい。ですがこの場合、かけらは犯人から奪い返せばいいんです。
いい。
でも、奪い返すってどうやればいいのかな。私の銃か、シーバさんのハンマーで叩けばいいようです。
So it would basically be the same as any other collection?
まだ私も試していませんが、七尾によると、無理やり削り取ったかけらは、元の持ち主へ帰ろうとする力が強いようなんです。
That is true. We saw that.
だから散らしてしまえば、あとは自動的に戻るはずだと。
Basically, if we retrieve the stolen fragments from the culprit and return them to Atsuma-san, then the fragments Ayachi-san lent to her will be returned as well. Just like how the fragments I absorbed seem to have all made it back into her bottle. All we've got to do is bring the culprit to justice. And that means finding the culprit. Simple!
じゃあ、私がやってもいいってことだよね。もちろんそうなります。ですから、手分けして操作するというのはどうでしょう。一緒に行動するのは、七尾の方針に逆らうことになってしまいますが、それなら問題ないはずです。
That makes sense. Yeah, and I'd rather not get into an argument about it.
ええ、その上で、私たち以外の魔女やアルプがいないか捜索していきましょう。それに、まだ発見されていない被害者もいるかもしれません。
This feels like a weird plot point to have this late in the game.
そっか、その可能性も十分あるよね。かけらを回収可能な人を見つけ出すのが難しいように、心が削れるほど弱ってる人を探すのも難しいはずです。見つけ出すだけでもなかなか骨が折れそうですが、もし被害者が集中する地域が発見された場合、犯人のテリトリーを特定できるかもしれません。
We're gonna use triangulation.
そんなにたくさんの被害者がいないことを祈りたいけどね。
They just take down the magic circle from the whiteboard over there and put up a map of the city with points and string. So, the more our culprit acts out, the better chance we have of catching them?
そういうことです。すでに七尾は周辺のアルプにも連絡を入れて情報を募っているようです。
Huh, I didn't realize there was that kind of network of Alps.
常習なら他の地域でもやってる可能性がありますから。
It will be impossible to track them down if they work in that large of an area.
けど、私たちにやれることをやるしかないよ。よその地域は他の魔女やアルプが何とかしてくれるよ。ええ、私もまずは学院周辺から洗っていくつもりです。
We just totally changed genres. Now all of a sudden we're a mystery.
シーバさんたちは駅の周辺から操作してもらえませんか？
Why there?
アツマさんの家は駅の近くなんだそうです。
I see. We're starting at the places she spends most of her time at.
わかった。何か進展があったら報告するね。ええ、私からも報告は入れるようにします。
With our lack of leads, we're really just taking a shot in the dark here. No, I mean, going back to key areas where the victim has spent a good portion of their time is actually a really good way to start the investigation. But regardless, we begin our investigation. So, how do you search for a witch or an alp anyway?
前に私が編入してきた時はどうやって探そうとしてたの？
I don't remember.
あやちさんの他に魔女がやってきたってことは分かってたんだよね。
We didn't really do anything. We just found someone who had retrievable fragments and waited for you to show up. Basically, we baited you.
だったら釣りの餌って呼ぶのもあれかもだけど。
I don't know that that would work twice. That might be too convenient.
かけらの回収が可能な人も探した方が良さげかな。
I don't know. Our culprit here doesn't obtain fragments the usual way. That's why we're in this predicament. Let's keep that idea as a last-ditch effort, but think of something else for now.
そっか。そうだ。魔女に変身して私が見えてる人を探すとか？
That's not a bad idea, actually. No, that's way too dangerous. Or maybe it's an awful idea. Okay. You'll be able to tell who we are. Okay, but we won't know who they are. And there's a good chance that whoever this is knows how to fight. Similarly, out of the question is making people aware I'm a human and then trying to find anyone who can hear me. These methods are much too indirect. If only we had an actual lead to go on.
難しいね。結局地道に探す以外いないなんて。
We need some kind of supernatural police. Yeah. That's easier said than done, though. The station area is crowded with people at this time of day. How are we meant to search for a culprit in this crowd who may or may not even exist?
よし、やろう。他に方法がないならやるしかないよ。
Tsumugi takes out her bottle and begins hunting for a reaction.
アルプは探しようがないと思う。けど魔女は大量のかけらを持ち歩いてるはずだから。
Right. And if we find a witch, we should be able to find their alp before too long. Though we'll be in trouble if the culprit is an alp without a witch. But there's no point in saying that now. As Tsumugi said, this is the only thing we can do. I start searching through the people around us too. There's always a chance that I might find a victim or someone with fragments ready to be collected. So I guess his powers are still working to a degree. I'm not sure how effective that is in teddy bear form. I'm also not sure what this sound is supposed to be.
シュウジ君、どうかした？
My bear senses are tingling. No, I'm just a bit tired. To be honest, I'm not tired. I'm just not feeling well. Turns out I can still get nauseous as a teddy bear. Well, that answers one of my questions.
そういえば人混みは苦手なんだよね。
Oh no, I'm nauseous, but I can't barf in bear form. He just opens up his bear mouth and stuffing goes flying out. I'm fine. I just need to rest for... Oh, crap.
ひょっとして何か見つけた？
No. I think I'm gonna return to human form in a minute. I've gotten used to this form enough to be able to tell when a transformation is coming.
もう？
Yeah, it's not like there's a fixed time when I go back to being human. Looks like it's early today.
どうしよう。人目のつかないところまで行った方がいいよね。
It could be worse. At least he comes back fully clothed. Because it would be very awkward if he transformed back to a human and did not have any clothes. We won't be able to make it all the way back to your place in time.
だよね。だったら、そうだ。あそこへ行ってみない？
Where do you mean?
シュウジ君、忘れてるでしょ。
Yes. Oh. Oh, right. I still have my own home. That was both a realization and me reading the line at the same time. I don't know why I didn't even think about that. That's gonna be awkward. What is she just gonna walk in there and be like, "Hi, Shuji's dad. Oh yeah, you don't know who Shuji is. Hi, you. I'm your temporarily non-existent son's girlfriend. Can we borrow his room?" I've been avoiding going there since becoming a teddy bear, but it's not like I can't go back. I realized just how much I missed the place the moment we enter. Moments after entering the living room, I turn back into a human. Whew, we made it just in time. Looks like my dad's been keeping the place clean. All right, well that was one concern out of the way. I'm glad it hasn't turned into a dump. There's nowhere more relaxing than your own home. I find myself sprawling out across the sofa in no time.
修二くんおじさんみたいだよ。
Ah, sorry. I shouldn't be neglecting my guest.
あ、いいよいいよ。修二くんにとっては久しぶりの我が家だもんね。せっかくだからゆっくりくつろいでて。
No, I can't do that. Not while we're in the middle of the investigation.
もう、修二くんたら約束忘れちゃったの？
She walks over to me. I sit up and hurriedly try to make space for her. However, Tsumugi pulls my head down onto her lap the moment she sits down.
人間になってる間はイチャイチャしてくれる約束だよね。
Aw. I did, but does that still apply here? She gently strokes my head.
もちろんだよ。それにどっちにしろ一回修二くんの家に来ておきたかったんだ。
We haven't had a scene here yet. Because you're worried about my dad?
それもあるけど着替えとか何もないでしょ。
Oh no, do I smell?
人間でいられるのは一日のうち数時間ずつだから今までは問題なかったかもしれないけど。
Yeah, fair point. I'll just go to my room and...
修二くん
I try to get up, but she pulls my head back onto her lap.
イチャイチャしてくれる約束です。
So we'll both go to my room, and I should probably increase the opacity of the text box again? So I did. And so she spends the next 15 minutes stroking my head. Ooh, relaxing. You're treating me like a teddy even when I'm a human now.
修二くん愛してるよ。
She's not denying it? Alright, well, that's interesting. Eventually, we managed to make it to my room. Looks like it hasn't been touched since I was here. Oh good. So much for the exercise room theory. Although, thinking about it, my dad should have forgotten that I exist. I'm a little surprised he hasn't disposed of everything here. Me too, actually. Maybe he hasn't even come home since then. It would explain why the rest of the place is so clean. There would still be some dust that piles up. Well, he is a workaholic. Maybe he's staying the night at work all the time now that he's forgotten about me? With all the carryout he's eating, he'd better not complain if his next physical goes horribly.
お父さんのこといろいろ言ってたくせにやっぱり心配してるじゃない。
No, I'm not. Yeah, you are. And that's fine. You're allowed to be. But anyway, if he comes home, he's not gonna have any idea of who I am, is he?
わからないけどさすがに混乱させちゃうと思う。
Who are you people and what are you doing in my house? Right. It'll be like he suddenly found two strangers in his own home.
私のことは覚えててくれてるんじゃないかな。
Yeah, but he won't know why he remembers you, right? Oh, yeah. You met him when I was sick. Well, not like he's gonna come home at this time anyway.
それで着替えはどこ？
Oh, in that dresser there. Tsumugi casually walks over and opens one of the drawers.
修二くんのパンツ。
Well, you asked for clothes. Those are clothes. Hey, what do you think you're doing?
でもこれも必要だよね。
No, I was thinking I would be bare naked. Tsumugi looks like a thief caught in the act. Okay, that's enough. I can prepare my own change of clothes.
恥ずかしがらなくてもいいと思うけどな。
Yeah, that's true. Y'all have seen everything. You're the one who's blushing.
かもしれないけど、将来は私が修二君の
Be stealing my underwear and running around the house calling yourself Captain Underpants?
下着を選択するようになる可能性もあるわけだよね。
Oh, I was totally off base. Huh?
そうじゃなかった？
No, it's definitely possible. I mean, that'd be nice.
じゃあいいでしょ。私が準備しても。
Tsumugi turns her back to me and starts packing my clothes away into a duffel bag. This is unfair. Why is it that my heart is beating so fast during a simple conversation about male underwear? Good question.
修二君。
Unable to hold back, I pull her into a tight hug from behind.
もうどうしたの？これじゃあ着替えの用意ができないよ。
We can pack the clothes later. That's fine. Save that for later. We need to keep our promise first. I'm gonna, yep, just go ahead and take that preemptive measure. I lean over her shoulder and press my lips against hers. I'm barely able to last a second before I get the urge to push my tongue into her mouth. Blah, 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 blah.
修二君とら強引だよ。
I love you, Tsumugi.
ひょっとしてもっとエッチなイチャイチャがしたくなったってことかな。
Maybe.
だったらもっと言ってみて。
I love you. I love you, Tsumugi.
はい、私も大好きです、修二君。
For some reason, I was just thinking, hi-ya. This time, it's Tsumugi's turn to pull me into a hug. Yep, that. Tsumugi, are you sure?
だからそっちへ座ってくれるかな。
I'm gonna sit in this corner and think about what you've done as I skip ahead. Yep. Alright, and we're back. It's gotten pitch black outside. Apparently we were in there for a while. And of course, I've turned back into a teddy bear, but I got the important things out of the way. Hey, Tsumugi, we need to get going soon.
待って。あった。
What were we looking for? Seems she's in the kitchen. What are you looking for?
これだよこれ。
Ah, the matching mugs we bought? The ones we bought on our date.
もう修二君、箱へ入れたままになってるよ。
Okay, to be fair, I've been a teddy bear for a while.
まさか一回も使ってないんじゃない？
No, but I was gonna. That's why it was in the kitchen. But when I went to open it, it kind of felt like it would be a waste to use it.
そうなの？
Ah, nice save. I was happy just having the box open and occasionally looking at it. Of course, I did plan on using it eventually.
わかるな、その気持ち。
You do? Oh, come to think of it, what happened to your mug? I haven't seen her using it either.
実は私も同じだったから。
Oh, I see how it is. You expect me to use the mug, but you get to keep it preserved.
ずーっと机の上に箱のまま置いてあるの。修二君気づいてなかったでしょ。
No, I can't turn my head. No way. You have?
それで勉強の合間とか時々眺めてたんだよ。
Sorry, I didn't notice at all. I'm sure she'll find it in her heart to forgive me, since I'm usually a teddy bear and all.
いいよ。私も自分で使おうねって言っておきながら、結局もったいなくて使えなかったんだから。
She holds the mug close to her chest.
でもせっかくだもんね。今度二人の時に使ってみようか。
We'll just have a tea party. I'll just pretend drink.
二人一緒に。
Also, speaking of, Since that was the narrow window of opportunity when he's human, did he just not have anything to eat or drink this time because he was more focused on other things? He's gonna be really hungry the next time he turns human. Yeah, sounds good. The two of us laugh shyly.
じゃあ今度こそかい。
Tadaima! Just then, the sound of the front door opening reaches our ears. Uh-oh.
ひょっとして修二君のお父さん。どうしよう。
I don't know, maybe stop yelling though? Oh shit, he doesn't usually come back for another 2 or 3 hours. But the footsteps in the corridor are all too familiar. There's no mistaking it. It's my dad. Except, something feels off. From my dad's perspective, the house should be empty, yet the lights are on and there are unfamiliar shoes at the entrance. But despite all that, he doesn't seem panicked in the slightest.
ああ、君は
Housekeeping?
ごめんなさい。勝手に入っちゃって、
Permission.
あ
In contrast to Tsumugi's panicked, slurred speech, my dad calmly surveys the room.
あ、よかった。間違えてよそのうちに帰ってきたのかと思った。
He seems like he is not doing well. My dad is currently having his home trespassed upon, and yet he just sinks down into the sofa, exhausted. His utter lack of a reaction leaves Tsumugi stunned.
おじさん。
気にしないでくれ。確か君は、そうだ。前にもうちに来てくれたことがあったっけね。
Who the hell is this? And what has he done with my dad?
何かあったんですか。
え
だって元気がないみたいですから。
何もないんだ。
Aw. My dad scratches his head.
おかしいんだ。前はもっと頑張れたのに。なぜか気力が湧いてこなくて。
This really is like It's a Wonderful Life situation.
私には何か心の支えがあったはずなんだが、思い出せないんだ。
Aw.
おじさん、まさかそれって、おじさんの心の支えって、まさか。
え？いや、もう何年も前になるな。私は妻を失っていてね。その頃は家族のために頑張っていたと思う。幸せだった。いつでも笑顔で迎えてくれる。私には本当にもったいない女性だった。上司には彼女を失った時に似ているという。
I feel so bad for him. This can't be happening. I've never seen my dad like this. He's always so optimistic, always cracking jokes. You work your ass off all day, every day, and have even been taking those stupid party trick courses. Are you for real right now? Weren't you trying to make your boss happy after everything he's done for you? I know he can't hear me, but I can't hold back.
宴会とか、もうすぐあるんじゃないんですか。
忘年会のシーズンだからね。ああ、そうだった。あれも妻を亡くした年だったな。
Oof.
よその部署が起こしたトラブルで大口の取引先を怒らせてしまったことがあったんだ。私は上司と一緒にクレーム処理へ向かった。相手はちょうど忘年会の最中で、頭を下げるくらいならここで土壌すくいでもやれと命令されたんだ。
Ah, so that's how that got started. Huh?
私は妻を亡くしたばかりなのに、残業で家にも帰ってやれない日が続いて、なのに土壌すくい。悔しくて情けなくて、私は手洗いで涙を抑えきれなくなってしまった。
Oh, it's like we're getting the unfiltered side of him. We normally see the optimistic side that he's constantly putting up for Shuuji, but he's been masking this whole time, I bet. And I feel like Shuuji's probably the one thing that's kept him from just collapsing under the weight of his own feelings.
そんなことが。
でもその時上司が私の背中を叩いて叱ってくれたんだ。ここでお前がしっかりしなかったら誰が家族を守るんだって。
Ah, okay.
今は歯を食いしばれって。おかしいな。私の家族は妻だけだったはずなのに、あの時私はどうしてあんなに頑張れたんだろう。
Dad?
シーバさんと言ったかな。君と知り合えた時、私はどうしたわけかすごく嬉しくてね。次の日部下を誘って飲みに行ったりして、私はこの嬉しい気持ちを胸にしまっておけなくて、何度もみんなに同じ話をしてしまってね。なのにあいつら迷惑そうに笑いながらもよかったですねって言ってくれたんだよ。どうして私はあんなに嬉しかったんだろう。どうして
I can't believe my eyes. He has never let me see him depressed before. With as much of a workaholic as he is, work had to have been tough for him sometimes. And I knew how much he loved Mom. I should have realized how hard it has been for him to lose her, but I didn't. I've been blind to his pain until now. Through his bright and optimistic demeanor, he has kept me completely in the dark. Of course he was in pain.
おじさん、また時々様子を見に来てもいいですか？
ああ、うん。いいのかい？はい、
もちろん。今度はちゃんといらっしゃる時に来ますから。
そうだね。でも君と話ができて少しすっきりしたよ。
いえ。でもきっと大丈夫ですから。大切な人のことを完全に忘れることはできないんだと思います。だからきっと思い出せますよ。私も頑張りますから、おじさんが思い出せるように。
I'll return to my normal form once Tsumugi finishes collecting her fragments. Everyone's memories should return then too. Dad shouldn't have any idea what she means, but a smile appears on his face nonetheless.
そうか。ありがとう。
That was really sad. Wow. Tsumugi holds me as we walk through the night streets. The encounter with my dad was so shocking that I don't know what to say. And yet, I know I have to speak. Hey, Tsumugi.
何、修二君。
At school, I never noticed anything wrong with Kaido and Karia. I was sure that my dad would be fine too. Never in a million years would I have expected things to be so bad. Tsumugi strokes my head in silence. He told me the whole loach scooping thing was just, like, a part of the party. He told me that with a smile on his face, like it was some heroic comedy tale. He also told me that he was going to invite out his subordinates to drink. I was embarrassed, so I told him to knock it off. I didn't understand anything. What I thought was a heroic deed has turned into the biggest mistake of my life. The dull ache in my heart only serves to reinforce the depth of my stupidity.
おじさん、修二君のことが本当に大切だったんだね。
Yeah. I never really thought I was worth a damn. But there are people out there who care about me. Which means that I need to start caring about myself too.
修二君のお父さんってすごく優しい人なんだね。修二君が優しいのもきっとお父さん譲りなんだね。
Oh, please. The only thing I take after my dad is in how much of a smartass he is.
いつか恩返ししてあげたいよね。
Right. For that, we'll have to get me back to normal.
犯人探しも大切だけど、かけら集めも頑張らないといけないね。
I want to be stronger. I won't lose out to this goddamn hole in my heart. I'm gonna become the kind of person who can truly care about others in return. Good motivation.
サノバウィッチ。
I kind of feel like the investigation side plot? Subplot? I don't know exactly how to phrase it. Is a little bit out there, but I feel like that's probably supposed to be character development more for Akagi than it is for Shuuji, because I feel like the whole scene with his dad is enough to convince him that there are more people than just Tsumugi that care about him. I mean, and Kaido and Kariya do too, but you know. To share the results of yesterday's investigation, we've come to the clubroom with Ayachi-san.
そうですか。そちらも手がかりはなしということですね。そちらもってことは、あやちさんも？ええ、七尾も不思議がってるくらいで、別のアルプがいるなら匂いでわかるというのですが。
Huh, well maybe I was wrong. Huh, Alps can do that? Wish we could get Akagi to help us then.
あれから姿を見せてくれないんだよね。
Oh no, she flew the coop. Akagi's name would be cleared if we actually found the culprit. But she's probably still holding a grudge. Apparently ravens are good at that. Even if she were around, it's possible she wouldn't help us.
ともかく簡単にはいかないということでしょう。だね。地道な捜査を続けていくしかないのかも。
Well, we were assuming that victims would be popping up one after the other. That's one thing I'm glad to be wrong about. Even though our job is harder for it.
ねえ、あやちさん。もっと効率的な捜査方法はないものかな。私が教えてほしいくらいですから。何か思いついたら相談させてもらいますね。もちろん私も何か思いついたら報告するね。ええ。明日からは週末になりますし、携帯で報告し合うようにしましょう。
Having made no progress during our meeting, we decide to simply loiter around the station again. Better than nothing.
やっぱり見つからないね。
Or maybe it's actually just nothing. Nope. We were unlikely to get any results by going to the same place and doing the same thing as yesterday. But the fact that we haven't found anything means that their attack was a one-time offense. As unfortunate as that is for Atsuma-san.
新たな被害者が出ないに越したことはないもんね。なんとかケアしてあげる方向へシフトしていく方が現実的なのかも。
That might be a good idea. Maybe. It doesn't feel right to leave the culprit at large, though.
ねえ、シュージー君。お父さんの様子、また見に行ってみない？
Hmm? Yeah. I'd like to know if he's okay. His heart seemed pretty weak. Oh, I wonder if that's the tie-in. That's gonna be how they end up getting whoever's responsible is because they go after Shuji's dad. A parent and child both getting holes in their hearts would be no laughing matter. Sorry about this.
私も気になってるから。もう帰ってきてるかな？
Yeah. Judging by how he was yesterday, I doubt he's able to put his all into his work. Let's drop by the house and see, at least. And so we head to my house.
ああ、ひょっとしてシーバさん？
Never mind.
おじさん！
やっぱり、いや、そうじゃないかと思って追いかけてきたんだ。
Hey, we were just about to go see you. We? Me and this teddy bear. Oh? He seems cheerful today. I ought to be delighted, but the change is so massive that I'm in shock. He's carrying a rather large bag, too.
実はこれから寄ろうと思ってたところなんですけど。
悪いね、心配かけて。 でも、もう大丈夫だから。
ならよかったですけど、修二くん、いえ、星名さんのうちって犬を飼ってましたっけ？
Huh. The dog, eh? Interesting.
ああ、これのことかい？
My dad lifts up the paper bag he's carrying. There's a dog raising set inside.
実は、子犬を拾ってね、飼ってみることにしたんだよ。
Okay, that doesn't seem like a coincidence.
はあ、そうだったんですか。
けど、驚いたな。修二のことを今、口走ったろ。
それは。
I actually half sneezed. Has he remembered me?
子犬の名前、どうしてシーバさんが知ってたんだい？
Oh. Well,
はい。犬の名前だったんですか。
it's so funny. I've got a teddy bear with the same name.
なんだ、違ったのかい。そりゃそうか。まだ誰にも教えてないもんな。
What a misleading name. And why does everyone keep naming things after me? Huh?
とにかく、家にまた家族が待っていると思えば、頑張れる気がしてきたよ。
おじさん。ええ、修二くんのためにも頑張ってあげてくださいね。
Yeah, I'm really beginning to think something's up with the dog.
なんだか父親になった気分だな。それじゃあ。
You're acting like a dad, too. My dad runs off more energetically than you would expect from a man his age. It seems he's found a new pet to love.
よかったね、修二くん。
Jeez, my dad never changes. We'd have world peace if everyone could move on as quickly as he does.
今すっごくほっとしてるくせに。それに犬の名前絶対関係あると思うな。
I don't know.
アカギだ。
We spot her across the road, a little ways down.
行っちゃった。私たちに気づかなかったのかな。
Dunno. I'm too busy wondering why she went down the same road as my dad just now. I'm sure it's just a coincidence. No, it's not. Not a coincidence. We should follow her. Right? Alright, I guess we're just going to ignore that.
サノバウィッチ。
That's too convenient to be a coincidence. Don't ignore it. We ignored it. Oh no. The new victim was his dad, wasn't it? I'd been assuming last night's encounter with Akagi was a coincidence until a new victim appeared. A little earlier today, Soma-san got in touch with us through Ayachi-san. As soon as we heard the news, Tsumugi grabbed a hold of me and set off running. No, this can't be. I don't want to believe it. He doesn't deserve this. Just yesterday he was... Yep. My emotions turn from blazing hot to ice cold the moment we arrive at the scene. There has been no mistake, nor is this a dream. Yep. This is reality.
ああ、いらっしゃい。
A lethargic attitude and eyes like a dead fish. Oh, so that's where I get it from. It's like I'm looking in a mirror. I finally have seen myself, and it's horrifying. I looked like this every day? I don't believe it.
七尾がたまたま路上で倒れているところを発見した時にはすでにこの状態だったそうです。
かなり強引なやり方をしたらしい。心をボロボロにされて完全に穴が開けられている。
Yee.
すまない。まさか君の父親が狙われるとは想像力が足りなかった。
It's not your fault. I didn't consider the possibility either. I did, even though I knew my dad's heart was weak. Even though I knew the culprit was targeting people with weakened hearts. This is my fault more than anyone else's. I made a stupid deal with Akagi without thinking, and as a result, my dad lost the one thing that kept him going. It's all my fault. Because of that, I have no right saying what I'm about to say. But the words leave my lips before I know it. Who was it?
修二君。
Who did this to my dad? Who was it? I deserve whatever I get for my stupidity. But not my dad. He did nothing. He was always so cheerful, no matter how hard the situation. He loved his wife. He loved his job. And he worked hard for his family. For me. Who would target someone like him? Who would do something so horrible? Why, God damn it? Why my dad? Damn it! God fucking damn it! Just then, Tsumugi holds her bottle out toward my dad. Glowing white feathers spill forth and are absorbed into him.
ああ、不思議だな、その光は。とても暖かいんだね。
おまじないです。楽になったら少し眠ってください。それがいいと思いますから。
My dad is carried to his bedroom. Tsumugi, are you sure about that? Those were all your fragments.
いいよ。この分は犯人に返してもらおう。修二君のお父さんの心はお父さんのものなんだから。そうだよね、綾千さん。
ええ、もちろんです。七尾も構いませんね。勘違いしてはいないか、ねね。所詮アルプの世界のルールはアルプ自身を守るためのものだ。七尾、必要以上に人間を傷つけては魔女と円満な共闘関係を築くのは難しくなるからな。
Sama-san stands up from the wall she was leaning on.
だがこいつは許せん。私のテリトリーでこれほど蚊に触る真似をされたのは生まれて初めてだ。草の根分けても探したし、決して野放しにはしない。必ず犯した罪を償わせてやると約束しよう。
Sama-san has always acted composed, never letting her emotions show. I thought that was largely because she was an Alp and didn't actually have any emotions to show. But now she's laying her emotions bare. Thank you, Sama-san. And thank you, Tsumugi. If there's anything I can do to help, anything at all, just tell me.
ああ、私からも正式に協力を要請させてもらう。もう死の子の言ってはいられないからな。
じゃあこのこと赤城にも。
We hear the fluttering of a bird's wings just outside the window. Ah, so she's been watching. Looking over, we see a single large raven speeding into the distance. Was that Akagi? Was she listening in?
またシーバさんを見張っていたのでしょうか。
I don't know, but...
ひょっとして修二君も思い出した？
You too, Tsumugi?
どうした？何か思い当たることでもあったのか？
I tell them how we saw Akagi going down the same road as my dad last night. Oh, they're gonna get the wrong impression, aren't they? She didn't seem to notice us at all back then.
つまり見張っていたのはシーバさんではなく星名君のお父さんだった可能性があると。
Yeah, they're gonna get the wrong impression.
もちろん犯人っていうより何か知ってるかもって。
やれやれ、犯人じゃないなら怪しい行動を取るのはやめてほしいものだな。
I'm sure it's a situation where she's trying to clear her name too, but because she's trying to do that so actively, it makes her look very suspicious, even though I really don't think it's her.
少なくとも犯行を目撃した可能性は高いのでは。その道へ入っていったなら星名君のお父さんが倒れていた場所は通り道のはずです。ならなおのこと見たことを話していけばいいもの。
Actually, if my theory... I feel like calling it a theory is a little bit broad, maybe hypothesis. If my hypothesis is correct, it would actually make sense why that puppy that they found was so attracted to Shuuji, because the puppy was like, ah, you too have a hole in your heart. It's a smaller hole, but it's still a hole. And then he changed when Atsuma showed up.
赤城のことは私に任せてもらえませんか？ 多分素直になれないだけだと思いますから。
Probably not.
いいだろう。私では喧嘩になるだけかもしれないからね。他に気になることがあるなら話しておいてくれ。情報は共有しておこう。
Mention the dog. Oh, that reminds me. What happened to that dog raising set?
それならそっちにあるよ。
And what happened to the dog? She turned me so I can look at it. So the set is here, but the puppy in question isn't? And there's no sign of it having been used either. Didn't he say yesterday that he took in an abandoned puppy?
散歩の途中で襲われて逃げられたということだろうか。
その可能性は高そうですが。
There we go.
子犬、昨日拾ったばかりなんですか？そう言ってたけど、どうかした？いえ、敦馬さんが預かっていた子犬も行方がわからなくなっているのを思い出したんですが。
You think it's a coincidence? No! Could this be the same puppy I saw walking around the town several days ago?
待ってくれ。どちらも子犬なんだな。成犬ではなく。
Supposedly, yeah, though I never saw the one my dad mentioned.
ひょっとしてそういうことなのか。
何か。
いや、確証はない。いずれにせよ、赤木の話を聞くのが先だろう。
I still feel like we should be airing the suspicions.
先入観を持たずに当たってほしい。
はい、わかりました。やってみます。
That being said, it's not going to be easy getting a hold of Akagi. She can fly wherever she pleases. Thankfully, it seems Tsumugi had a trick up her sleeve. Crackers?
まずはスーパーに寄ろう。
Huh?
今ならタイムセールがあるはずだから。
Is she thinking of preparing dinner or something? No, she's going to get a snack that Akagi cannot resist.
よーし、できたよ。
This looks delicious. The table is covered with chicken dumplings, boiled turnips, and meatloaf. You're not just slacking off or anything, are you?
当たり前だよ。これは作戦なんだから。赤城は神出鬼没だけど、こっちから捕まえるのは難しいでしょ？
So we lure her in. Yeah, I'd say so.
だったら向こうから来てもらうしかないでしょ？
Yep. So you made all this food to lure her in?
赤城は鶏団子が大好物なんだよ。
Cannibalism! What a simple plan. Would she really let herself be baited by chicken dumplings? I mean, I do remember her talking about chicken dumplings before, though. Wait a moment. Akagi's a raven, right?
そうだけど、今更それがどうかした？
Well, I mean, chickens are birds, right? Right, but chickens are also omnivores.
だからどうしてそんな当たり前のこと？
Isn't that a tad cannibalistic?
ちょっと待って。今までもずっと普通に食べてたんだよ。おいしいおいしいって。
I don't know if it counts as cannibalism if it's a different species of bird, because by that logic, then fish eating other fish would be cannibalistic. But I think it's only cannibalistic if it's the same species.
週に1回か2回は必ず。ひょっとして私、ずっと赤城に共食いを。バカ者。
A voice enters the room from the veranda.
同じ鳥だからといって、あっちを鶏などと同じにされては困る。
There we go, that worked. Akagi, you actually showed up!
言っておくが、別に食べ物に釣られたわけではないからな。
I just got tired of being accused of being a cannibal.
何か話がありそうなので、乗ってやっただけじゃ。
It's very tsundere of you. Or so she says. She's still heading straight for the dinner table. Tsumugi serves her up some white rice.
はい、赤城。つむぎ、ポン酢が出ておらんぞ。鶏団子にはポン酢じゃろ。
Are you really okay with being a cannibal?
だから共食いではない。人間とて 同じ哺乳類でも猿の肉を喜ぶものは少ないだろう。だが牛や豚の肉を食べるではないか。同じ鳥類でもあっちと鶏では種としての品位に差があるのじゃ。
Is there? All birds look the same to me. That. Really? Ravens and chickens look the. Okay.
人間はすぐ見た目にとらわれる。あっちには哺乳類も2本足か4本足かの差しかないように思えるわな。
Touche.
だいたい飛べもせんやつらと一括りにされているのは納得いくん。
I mean, they can fly short distances. Akagi uses one of her hands to stuff her face with meatloaf while using the other to dip her dumplings in soy sauce.
やはり紬の料理は絶品じゃな。あっちが人間になった暁には専属料理人として雇ってやってもいいくらいじゃ。
With what money?
赤城と一緒に食事をするのも久しぶりだね。それで話があったのではないのか。うん。赤城知ってるんだよね。修二君のお父さんが襲われたこと。無論じゃ。餌に使わせてもらったのだからな。
Okay, ow. You used him?
釣りの餌じゃ。犯人は心が脆くなっているものを選んで襲っていたのだろう。なら餌を見つけて襲いに来るのを待つ方が賢明であろう。
Oh, yeah, that's not gonna piss him off at all. You little. So you knew there was a good chance my dad would be attacked? But you just used him.
でなければどうしてあっちが現場の近くにいたと思うのじゃ。
To be fair, we had the same plan, more or less.
まさかあっちが直に襲ったとでも言うつもりか。
Of course, Tsumugi and I realize Akagi isn't the culprit. But what she's done is barely any different. Has nothing Tsumugi told her sunk in? Not really.
どうした。お前たちもあっちを誘い出すために餌を用意したのではないか。
I mean, she's got a point.
赤城。
Tsumugi stabs a dumpling with her chopsticks and thrusts it towards Akagi.
犯人を見たんだね。それを私たちに教えてくれるつもりで出てきてくれたんじゃないの。犯人はアルプでも魔女でもない。だから七尾も見つけられず苦戦しているのじゃろう。
Is it like a larval stage of Alp, or is it something else entirely?
あっちも最初目の前にいることに気づかなかったくらいじゃ。
What do you mean?
あれはアルプになりかけているだけのただの動物じゃ。
Okay, so that was kind of right.
ルールはもちろん善悪の区別もつかず暴走しているだけなのだろう。
So who is it then?
修二君。
The dog, not you. Are you screwing with me?
そいつの名前じゃ。
Are you actually... Wait. Don't tell me.
じゃあやっぱりあの子なの。私たちが初馬さんに預けたあの子犬なの。それをまた修二君のお父さんが拾ったってことなの。そうなるのであろうな。見た目の姿はアルプになる寸前。アルプとしての年齢に書き換えられる。
Interesting.
子犬に見えても実際には弱い20に近い老犬じゃろ。
Huh. Come to think of it, Sama-san looks like a kitten when she enters her animal form. So we found it in adult dog clothes because it had just completed its transformation? And then we caused this by giving it to Atsuma-san?
そうなるかもな。
Well, shit.
だが成り立てであれば自分でもアルプになりかけていることに気づかぬ場合もある。小僧が気づかなくても無理はないと思うがな。
Still, knowing that we're the ones who started this is shocking.
修二君、他の人が拾わなくてよかったんだよ。
That is true.
それじゃあ誰も気づけないまま被害者だけ増えることになったと思う。事情を知ってる私たちだからおかしいって気づけたんだから。
Yeah, I know. At least we know who the culprit is now.
あとはみんなで協力して捕まえよう。みんなで？なぜじゃ？
Akagi snorts derisively at us. It's not at all like her usual laugh.
見つけたのはあっちじゃぞ。お前たちはガン首揃えて何もできなかったのではないか。
Is this really the time to be all high and mighty?
このままお前たちだけで捜査を続けたとしても、成果を上げられたかどうかさえ怪しいもんじゃ。
Maybe, but it's true that even if we did think of using someone as bait, I never would have been able to use my dad. Okay, so what are you getting at?
あっちはただ七尾より先に犯人を見つけてギャフンと言わせてやりたいだけじゃ。
Really? This is all about just showing her up?
人間にどれだけ被害が出ようとあっちには関係ないことじゃな。
Okay, well, I thought I was starting to like you a little bit, and not anymore. What was that?
なのに協力などしたら目的が果たせなくなってしまうではないか。
You're the worst.
もともとあっちは人間が嫌いだと言わなかったか。
So why do you want to become human?
実はもうねぐらも抑えてある。あとは踏み込めばいいだけ。どっちにしろ協力など不要じゃ。
Then, could you at least return the heart fragments you get from the culprit? I suppress my displeasure at her methods and plead for her help. Returning my dad and Atsuma-san back to normal is what matters most.
バカを言え。あっちが見つけたのだからあっちがいただく。
Yeah, I figured.
赤木。
If I were human right now, I would have grabbed her by the shoulders. No, actually, I don't think I would. Not with the tears Tsumugi is shedding.
なんじゃその顔は。あっちは当然の権利を主張しているだけじゃ。どうしてそんなに無理してるの？何？私には赤木が無理して悪ぶってるようにしか見えないよ。だって赤木はそこまで悪い子じゃないはずだもん。どうして無理してまで悪い子になろうとするの？お願いだから修二君のお父さんを元に戻してあげて。
Okay. Even Akagi is shaken by this. But her expression remains as smug as ever.
あっちはもともとこうしてきたのじゃ。ずっとこうしてきたはずなのじゃ。今までは七尾に遠慮してきたが、もうあっちの方が上なのじゃぞ。あいつのようにあっちは人間に同情したりはせん。同情などしては効率よくかけらを集めることができんではないか。そんなのは出来損ないのアルプがすることなのじゃ。
Akagi bitterly rants and raves. But through seeing this, I can tell that Tsumugi was right. I don't know why, but she's forcing this act upon herself. Hey, Akagi, remember how you told me why it is that you want to be human? Was that a lie?
友達とそれ以外の人間は違う。
My question failed to perturb her any further. In fact, it seems to have helped her regain her composure. Forget about me. Isn't Tsumugi one of your friends?
その通りじゃ。魔女とアルプの間に友情などあってたまるか。
Really? That seems weird.
もともとお互い目的のため利用し合う関係なのじゃ。
Do you not realize how sad that way of thinking is?
修二君、もういいよ。紬、赤木、私ちゃんと分かってるつもりだから。魔女の契約をするとき無茶な前借りを申し出る私に本当は困って止めようとしてくれてたこと、修二君が風邪で倒れたとき本当は慌てて知らせに来てくれたこと、それを見て私はただごとじゃないって思ったんだから。
Was that why she took the day off school to come and look after me?
遊園地へ行く前の夜、あんまり嬉しくて私なかなか眠れなかった。あの時私の取り留めのない話をずっと隣で聞いててくれたでしょ。赤木迷惑そうにしながらも 嬉しそうに笑ってたんだよ。だから後で修二君とおかしな取引をしてたと知った時も本気では怒れなかった。赤木なりに私たちを応援しようとしてくれてたんだって分かってたつもりだから。
Tsumugi looks directly into Akagi's eyes.
私はずっと赤木を友達だと思ってた。今もそう信じてるから。くだらん。
Akagi averts her gaze.
あっちは自分の目的に従ってきただけじゃ、それ以上でも以下でもない。
Ah, yes, there's the tsundere again.
そうなのかな。当たり前じゃん。そんなに信じたければ勝手に信じていろ。せいぜい裏切られて泣かんようにすることじゃな。
Akagi slams down her chopsticks and stands up. Aren't you going to finish your dumplings? I thought they were your favorite.
バカにするでない。あっちは。じゃあ残りはまた今度食べよう。ちゃんと赤木の分も残しておくから。勝手にするのじゃ。
Akagi transforms back into a raven and leaves through the same window she came in. Why is she being so stubborn, tsundere? Was she that bothered by what we said?
とにかく相馬さんたちにも報告した方がいいよね。
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, we should. We know who the culprit is now, but there hasn't been that much progress. In fact, if Akagi truly plans on taking all the fragments for herself, then things have just gotten even worse. We're all going to have to chase after Akagi together.
なるほど。そういうことか。
Sama-san responds to Tsumugi's report in a calm tone. Tsumugi has set her phone to speaker mode so I can hear the conversation.
真犯人については子犬が関わってると聞いた時点で予想はしていた。
It was mine too.
だが赤木一人で対処させるのはまずい。
まさか本気とは思いませんけど、毎日かけらを自分のものにするつもりなら。
もちろんそれも問題だ。だがそうではない。先日シュバレツカーツェで取り押さえた時、私は偶然気づいてしまったんだ。だが赤木は多分自分じゃまだ気づいていないのだろう。
Oh look, another layer of issues. Now that she mentions it, I do remember Sama-san acting strangely. What do you mean?
いいかい？アルプも生態に近づくほど人間に近い心を持つようになっていく。それはつまりアルプもかけらを生み出したり心に穴が開く可能性があるということなんだ。
Ooh. She has a hole in her heart?
まさか。
If so, this is bad. Actually, this may be the worst case scenario. The bastard we're dealing with seeks out people with weak hearts and attacks them. That's not good. Oh no. That doesn't sound like a normal puppy. He appears excited. He's panting heavily and drooling wildly. One could easily mistake him for being rabid. Fire burns in his eyes in anticipation of the hunt to come. He's restless, unable to stay still. However, he has a silent observer high in the sky, watching as he crawls from his den and heads out on the prowl. That observer is Akagi. Eventually, the puppy sets its sights on a single passerby. Akagi folds her jet black wings in and swoops down. The dog takes an aggressive stance and lets out a low growl. And yet the passerby still doesn't realize that something is behind him. Have these humans completely forgotten their links to the wilderness? Yeah, probably.
やめておくのじゃな。あれは食ってもうまそうにない。
Upon hearing Akagi's cry, the puppy jumps back and lowers its body to the ground. These are the actions of someone used to the hunt. Its diminutive looks belie its true age.
どうした？まだ進化はできんのか。同類に会うのは初めてと見えるな。
This time, he doesn't growl. Instead, he glares at Akagi while circling around her.
お前は知らんようだが、かけらの集め方にもルールがある。新米は先輩アルプからそれを教わるものじゃぞ。
She smiles wryly as she remembers how Nanao once drilled the rules into her. But of course, Akagi has no intention of helping this puppy out for free.
勉強代じゃ。お前が無茶な方法で集めたかけらは、あっちがいただく。ほう、威嚇しておるつもりか。それとも人化もできぬひよっこが生意気にテリトリーを主張しているのか。まあよい、身の程を教えてやるのも教育の一環じゃろ。
Outfight! The puppy leaps forward at Akagi, but she hasn't exactly lived a life of luxury herself. Akagi easily dodges the puppy and restores the distance between them.
なかなか素早い動きじゃが、まさかあっちを弱いと思っておるのか。この程度では触れることも。
For reasons Akagi doesn't understand, the puppy turns around and sprints off.
逃げるか。いや、そうではなさそうじゃ。もしや。
The puppy had ignored Akagi in order to go after its previous target. It jumps up, attempting to sink its fangs into the man's back, right where his heart should be. Except... the puppy is launched into the other direction by an invisible force. The passerby runs away as Akagi leisurely strolls up.
バカなやつめ。人間の心は脆いようで案外強いのじゃ。かけらを回収できるのは通常より大きくなりすぎた時だけ。強引に削り取るには相当に弱っていなくては、そのような目に遭うのがオチなのじゃ。
As Akagi scolds the puppy, she realizes how she's phrasing the strength of humans.
バカな。あっちは何を考えておる。あっちは人間に同情などせん。出来損ないのアルプではないのじゃ。
Akagi takes her eyes off the dog in the midst of her internal conflict, and the puppy seizes that opportunity to flee again.
えい、面倒なやつじゃな。どうせなら立ち向かってこんか。
After some time, Akagi finally manages to catch up to the puppy. There she finds a crying child. Perhaps he's gotten lost? The puppy is charging straight at him.
あいつ、もしや。
Is he targeting people with weak hearts? The puppy is as good as captured. Akagi simply has to wait for him to attack the child and stab him in the back then. But she has the child's safety to consider. If she goes with that plan, the child may still end up getting hurt. She wouldn't put it past the dog to prioritize getting a bite over its own safety. Having no time for this internal conflict, she makes her decision. Why should she care what happens to a human child? The thought crosses her mind, but before she knows it, she has grabbed hold of the dog and is now grappling with him on the ground. After some time trading blows, they both jump away and stare each other down from a distance.
逃げぬか小僧。さっさと親鳥のところへでも帰るのだな。
She hears footsteps rapidly disappearing behind her as she confronts the puppy. You won't escape this time. For some reason, a sense of duty is welling up within her. She finds herself enraged at the way the dog targets the weak of heart. Akagi was there when Shuuji's dad was attacked, and she failed to consider the puppy dangerous. She was confident then that she could have moved in to help should things have turned south, but the consequences of her naivete have been made abundantly clear. She had no excuse for the way things turned out. That's the real reason for the tough facade she put on in front of Shuuji.
これ以上お前の好き勝手にはさせん。星を聞かしてほしいなら望むだけくれてやろう。
Something was wrong, though. The puppy seemed calm in its actions. It wasn't trying to run away this time.
ほう、まだ力の差がわからぬと見え。
Akagi's knees buckle, having been drained of their strength. She looks down at her arm in a daze. There's a small wound there. The puppy's fangs had come into contact with her in their scuffle, but that alone shouldn't have hurt her so much. If Akagi was in her usual state, that is.
なんだ。もしや、これはあっちの。 あっちの心が。
Listening feathers flutter to the ground. This is the cue that finally allows her to realize the warped, weakened state of her heart. That the shell has been cracked and a hole has been opened. And that it was caused by the promise she failed to keep 50 years prior. Akagi already knew the truth. That, by now, her friend has most likely already passed away. The more her heart became human, the more that anxiety strengthened within her. That anxiety, more than anything, drove her desire to become human as soon as possible. She was frantic, but also petrified. Petrified of her weakness and how she'd have to resign herself to the truth. The puppy watches Akagi collapse to the ground before finally going after her fragments.
やめか。
She reaches out a hand to stop him, but even a few feet feel like a mile to her right now. Her opponent pays her no mind as he leaps at her exposed fragments. He mercilessly gorges on his meal.
やめろ。それはあっちの大切な約束なのじゃ。やめて。Akagi!
But just in the nick of time, a small-framed girl jumps in before her. Soma-san followed Akagi's scent all the way here. We've arrived to see Akagi kneeling before the puppy. Fortunately, I'm in my human form for this. But someone else acted before me, and even Soma-san. Tsumugi. However, the puppy knocks Tsumugi back. You really can't judge a book by its cover. Tsumugi, are you okay? I hurry over to her side and hold her in my arms. Akagi, unable to keep up with this string of events, is frozen in place on her bottom.
やってくれたな。
こんな子犬が犯人だったとは見かけによらないようですね。
Looks can be deceiving. The puppy judges the situation to have him at a disadvantage and bounds away.
私が追おう。後のことは任せる。
頼みます、ナナオ。紬。
Akagi finally totters over to our side.
大丈夫。ちょっとびっくりしちゃっただけ。
Are all of these people just ignoring what's happening, or could they only see bits and pieces? I'm the shocked one. That was reckless.
ごめんね。でもほら、赤木。
Tsumugi's clutching some small feathers.
それは、これは。半分くらいは向こうへ持っていかれちゃったみたいだけど、なんとかこれだけは守れたよ。
Tsumugi places them in Akagi's palm.
あっちの。ねえ、赤木。自分の心を失うのはとても痛いことだったでしょ。とてもひどいことだったでしょ。だから赤木には同じことをしてほしくないな。もっとかけらが必要なら私がもっと頑張るから。それじゃいけないかな。
Tears start streaming down Akagi's face.
おかしいのじゃ。あっちはおかしくなってしまったのじゃ。今まで平気でできたことが平気じゃなくなってしまったのじゃ。
Akagi?
一番大切な約束だったはずなのじゃ。なのに他のことも大切に思えてしまうことがある。時に一番大切なことまで霞んでしまうくらい。だから以前小僧にまだまだ人間に程遠いと言われた時ぐさりときた。
Huh?
もう50年も経ってしまったのじゃ。もっと急がねば。もっと最短距離で約束を果たさねばならぬのに迷ってしまう。だから今まで通りのあっちに戻りたかった。戻れないのは人間に程遠いせいなんじゃろう。 一番大切なはずなのに、どうしてハチはハルプとしても人間としても出来損ないなのじゃ。
Okay, now I feel bad for her. I'm sorry, Akagi. I was mistaken. I'm only realizing now how harsh that statement was. Words can even hurt an Alp like Akagi. You know, when humans are worried, embarrassed, or nervous, or whenever things are going badly, we always try to go back to our usual selves as well. And oftentimes, that mindset only leads to further problems and misunderstandings. That's why things were so rocky for me and Tsumugi at the start. Humans are not perfect. We all make mistakes. So, I was wrong about you. You're already plenty human.
シュウジ、私もそう思うよ。赤木、紬、ありがとう。ありがとう、二人とも。あっちの約束を守ってくれて、ありがとう。
Akagi clutches her returned fragments as hard as she can. A crowd begins to form around us, but Ayachi-san manages to drive them all away. Not long after, Soma-san comes back.
すまない。一部とはいえ、赤城のかけらを吸収したせいだろう。私でも単純な追いかけっこでは勝てそうもない。
そうですか。厄介ですね。私たちが追っていることにも気づかれたはずですから。
おそらく赤城が掴んだねぐらも変えてくるだろう。
今後はますます探しづらくなりそうですね。
The two of them are acting perfectly calm. But I know they're in pain. Nobody likes seeing people suffer like this. There's a way.
シュウジ君？
There's a way for us to find him. Like hell I'm letting him get away. Not while he's got a hold of something so important to us. I have a feeling that this is something only I can do. We gonna be bait this time? Human form bait.
サノバウィッチ。
Alright, I think this is where I'm going to stop this episode. I know this is going to be a little bit of a cliffhanger one, considering we're right in the midst of the investigation. I think that leaves something interesting for what might be the last episode of this route. I honestly don't know at this point, because every time I kind of think we're getting close, there's another plot twist that occurs. I didn't realize how much everything was going to tie together, because I was thinking we were getting a little long in the tooth with this investigation, but yeah, okay, I guess it makes sense. It was revealing more about Akagi's personality, her development from an Alp into more of a human, and then of course, the situation with his dad tied back in. It was like, oh, okay, so there were multiple reasons for having those scenes all interwoven. I was a little bit premature on my judgment on that, I'll admit that. It is really interesting seeing how tense things have become with the whole developing Alp situation. I wouldn't have guessed that this was such an ordeal. Also, it makes it seem like it's really difficult for existing Alps to kind of train fledgling Alps in the ways of the rules and stuff like that. Raises a lot of questions that I'd be curious to see if they get into any more detail in, either in this route or maybe Nene's. It might be so nuanced that we just don't get to know the details, because they're not particularly important to the plot beyond this. Well, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and I hope to see you in the next one. For now, I am one half of the Bridge Boys, signing off.